Hello, my dear children. Today I am going to continue the next part of the lesson which I present to you in my previous video under the topic percentages. Finding the rate of the interest. A person who buys anything under reducing balance becomes aware of the market price of the item limit for paying, the amount to be paid as an installment. It is useful to know the rate of interest charged. Let us examine how the rate of interest can be found when the above information is available. I'd like to explain that matter with the example. Dear children, let's move to the example. Right, example 1. A refrigerator's price is 27,500 rupees. It can be obtained on reducing balance by paying 7,500 rupees first and the balance in 10 equal monthly installments of 2,110 each. Find the rate of interest. Right. Look at the question and compare the facts given as my information in previous slide. The market price of the item. You can see that in the question as 27,500 rupees. Secondly, the time limit for paying. It's also in this question, balance in 10 equal monthly installments. That is the time limit for paying that loan. So, other thing, look at that. The amount to be paid as an installment. So, you can see that in the question, 2,110 rupees each. So, that is the size of the installment. Now, first of all, you have to read very carefully the question at least 2 times and you can highlight that facts given to solve the question. Right. Let's move to the solution. My dear children, as my information in previous lesson, I have introduced you. There were 7 steps to solve that problem. This also you have to follow in this matter. You also follow 7 steps to solve that question. Step 1, balance to be paid in installments. So you have to subtract the initial payment from the price of that item. That's 27,500 minus 7,500. The answer is 20,000 rupees. In second step, you can see the calculation of monthly loan. Monthly loan is equal the total loan divided by number of installments or number of months. That's 2,000 rupees. Third one, number of month units. You have learned that in previous lesson, Putala. You have learned the formula n times n plus 1 divided by 2. Using that same formula, you have to find the number of month units. You can substitute the number of months 10. 10 times 10 plus 1 divided by 2 is 55. That same as the previous lessons you have done that when we saw that size of the installments, very same, right? Question step 4, total amount paid over. The size of the installment is 2,110. That's with the interest. So you can multiply that by 10. The answer is 21,100. That is the total amount you have to pay for settle the loan. Right. Now step 5, total interest. Uh, as our previous questions, you know the difference between the loan and the amount paid to settle the loan is equal the interest. So you have to subtract 20,000 from 21,100. The answer is 1,100 rupees. That is the total interest. And in the sixth step, you can see the interest for a month unit. We have calculated in previous step the number of month units you have obtained of 55. So in the fifth step, you have calculated the interest, total interest as 1,100 rupees. You have to divide 1,100 rupees by 55. The answer is 20 rupees. That is the interest for a month unit. I think you have got that two answers. Now, the final answer you can calculate with using that answers obtaining from previous steps. The fraction you can see in the first bracket, the fraction form you have to use the interest for a month unit as the numerator. The interest without interest, the loan is the new denominator, and multiply that fraction by 100 to convert that fraction into the percentage. You can multiply that by again 12, because there are 12 months for the year. Then you can obtain the final answer, 12%. I think you can have a good idea about that one. But I would like to refer again from first step. Look at that screen. Very first, you have to calculate the balance to be paid in installment. You have to subtract the initial payment from the amount, that is 20,000 rupees. In second, monthly loan, you have to divide that whole loan by the number of months, that's 2,000 rupees. In third, number of month units, using the formula n times n plus 1 divided by 2, you have to substitute 10 for the n. So 10 times 10 plus 1 divided by 2 is 55. That is the number of month units. In the fourth step, total amount paid over within 10 installments, you have to multiply the size of the installment by number of installments, that is 21,100. That is the fourth step. And you can find total interest paid by subtracting loan from the amount, that is 1,100 rupees. In the sixth step, interest for a month unit, you have to divide that total interest by 55. That is the number of month units. You can obtain 20 rupees as the interest for a month unit. Finally, the annual interest rate. My dear children, always you keep your mind the fraction you have to form first. Always you have to keep your mind the numerator is always interest for a month unit, and the denominator is the loan amount for the month without interest. That is the numbers you have to substitute for the numerator and the denominator both. After forming the fraction, you have to multiply that by 100, because you have to find the rate of the interest. And annual rate, convert to the annual rate, you have to multiply that answer by 12. Finally, you can obtain your answer. In this question, you can obtain 12% as the annual interest rate. Children, I think you have learned that type of the how do you solve that type of the questions. So I would like to invite to you, please solve the problems regarding this matter in your textbook. The remaining questions of exercise 9.1 you can solve very easily now, and I would like to invite to you find out past papers and find the questions related to this matter and practice very well to solve that questions, right? I think let's move to that's better. Let's move to the next topic we have to complete today is compound interest. That is the new matter that you are going to learn in grade 11. I would like to recall your memory of that facts you have learned under the interest lesson in grade 9 and 10. You have calculated annual interest rate as same this formula that you can see on the screen. Interest for a year divide by the principal and multiply by 100%. You can obtain the rate of the annual interest. So we have to use this matter for solve the new questions that you have to use, solve under the compound interest scheme. What is the compound interest? Compound interest is interest on each time units in added to the principal and the interest for the successive time unit and calculated for the new principal so obtained. In this manner, when the interest is calculated every year, not only the principal but the previously earned interest also earn interest. Okay, children, what's the meaning of compounding? That is new matter. The addition of interest to the principal is called compounding, and calculation on the compounded amount is called the compound interest method. I think now you have got the idea of that new word compound interest and what is the meaning of compounding. Using that facts, we are going to solve the problems related to this topic, compound interest. Let's see that in next slide. Look at the question. If a person takes a loan of 10,000 rupees at a compound interest rate of 10% per year, calculate the total amount required to repay the entire loan in 2 years. Children, first of all, as my information in previous slides, you have to read at least twice a question to get the correct idea. If a person takes a loan of 10,000 rupees at a compound interest rate of 10% per year, calculate the total amount required to repay the entire loan in 2 years. That is the question. The principal of the loan is 10,000 and rate 10% annually. The time period is 2 years. Those are the facts you have to use to solve the problem. Let's see the solution. Look at. Loan amount equals 10,000 rupees. Compound interest rate is 10%. Look at the next step. You can calculate the percentage for the principal separately year by year. Interest for the first year, 10,000 multiplied by 10 over 100. The answer is 10,000 rupees. Loan amount at the end of the first year equals 10,000 plus 1,000 rupees. That's equal 11,000 rupees. Putala, it is apparent that interest earned at the end of the year is added to the account balance, and the interest for the next year is calculated on the new balance. So, understood? So, according to that, interest for the second year, you have to calculate for 11,000 rupees. 11,000 rupees multiplied by 10 over 100 is 1,100 rupees. Now, you can find the final answer. Loan amount at the end of the second year. Amount equal always the amount you have to calculate by adding both the loan and the interest obtaining for the second year. The answer is 12,100 rupees. You can compare that with my introduction of the compound interest and introduction of compounding. We have compounded that from first year to second year in 2 times. So you can solve in this manner these type of questions. Let's move to the next slide. I would like to introduce you the questions that you have to face in your O-level examination. Right. Right. Look at the question, children. I would like to invite you read at least twice. Amal invests 50,000 rupees for 3 years in a fixed deposit account which pays 6% annual interest compounded yearly. Nimal invests 50,000 rupees in an account which pays 6% annual simple interest. Calculate the amounts received by Amal and Nimal at the end of 3 years separately. I think my children, there are 2 methods you have to follow in this question. 2 persons obtained loans under the 2 methods. First person obtained 50,000 rupees under the interest compounded yearly. Nimal invest 50,000 in an account with 6% under the annual simple interest method. So you have to calculate separately the amounts for both persons. Let's see the solution. Look at the slides, Putala. Total amount received by Amal at the end of the first year. Let's see that step 1. The amount directly you can calculate as this example. As my previous explanation in previous slide, I would like to show you it again. Look at this slide. We have calculated first the interest, and you can add that for the second year amount. But we have calculated in this step directly that 50,000 multiplied by 106 over 100. How did you obtain that fraction? If you have obtained 100 rupees of a loan, you can settle that with 106 as the amount, because you have to add the interest for the loan. It is equal 106 rupees for the 100 rupees of loan. That is the logical thing of forming this fraction. You can multiply that by the amount. You can obtain the multiply that the principal, you can obtain the amount as 53,000 rupees. Let's move to the second year. Total amount received by Amal at the end of the second year. As the previous step, you can multiply 53,000 by the fraction 106 over 100. The answer is 56,180 rupees. That is the end of the second year. He has obtained the amount. Look at the third step. Total amount received by Amal at the end of the third year. As same as the second and first steps, you have to multiply that number by the same fraction 106 over 100. That's a final answer 59,550 and 80 cents is the amount at the end of third year. Amal's amount we have calculated separately by using that three steps. Amal's investment. What happened to the Amal's investment? At the end of 3 years, he has obtained 59,550 and 80 cents as his amount. Let's see the next step. What happened to the Nimal's investment? Look at the slide. Interest received by Nimal at the end of the third year. As we learned in grade 10, very easily you can calculate the interest for the 3 years using the step one step. Look at that step. The principal multiplied by the rate of the interest 6 over 100 multiplied by the number of years is 3. You can calculate the interest, total interest as 9,000 rupees. That is the Nimal's total interest at the end of 3 years. His total amount received by Nimal at the end of 3 years, you can add both answers 50,000 and 9,000. He has obtained 59,000 rupees as his amount at the end of 3 years. I'd like to invite children, you can compare both answers. Look at in the first previous slide, Amal obtained 59,550 and 80 cents as his amount at the end of 3 years, and Nimal obtains 59,000 rupees only. So by comparing, you have get the idea about the two methods of the interest we have calculated. More profit, what is the profitable thing? That's the practical thing in your day-to-day life. If you are investing, you are going to investing your money, which method is more profitable one? It is no doubt you can see in your lesson. In our previous slide you can see the Amal obtains 59,550 rupees and 80 cents. Nimal obtains 59,000 rupees only. So the compound interest method is more profitable method. That is the thing you have to add to your day-to-day life. Putala, I would like to invite to you solve the problems related to this matter in your textbook in page number 9, 9.2 exercise. Right. I would like to show you very short method. Look at the slide. Total amount received by Amal at the end of 3 years can also be obtained by using given method. Look at that. The principal is 50,000 rupees. the fraction we have formed to calculate the interest, compound interest annually, 106 over 100, you can see we have multiplied that repeatedly in 3 times. The answer obtaining 59,550 rupees and 80 cents is same. By using that long method, you have obtained that same answer, 59,550 and 80 cents. That by using this short method, you also obtain the same answer. No problem. No matter how do you solve that problem, you will have scored same amount of marks in your examinations. So I would like to invite you any method, anyhow you can obtain the answer for compound interest. That's your choice. Okay, children, as your wish, you can find the answer. So I would like to introduce you the formula. Depends on the previous short method. In the if the principal is P, rate of the compound interest is R, and the number of years is N, we can form the formula in terms of P, N and R. You can see that on screen. The amount equals P times 100 plus R over 100 to the power N. What is the reason of this index form? As you learnt in your previous lessons called indices, if a number multiplied by itself in any times, we call that as index form. You can see we have multiplied in this question 106 over 100 in 3 times by itself. Because of that, the number of years is 3. According to that, you can see if the number of years is n, you can multiply that fraction and the principal of the loan by n times. This is the formula you can see in your screen. The reason of that power, you have identified what is the reason. If a number multiplied by itself in any times, you can express that as a power of that number of times. The number of times is n, the power is n. So, I think you have got the formula to solve that type of the question. I would like to invite to you, you can substitute the numbers in your question, but before that you have to identify what are the numbers you have to substitute the given formula. What is the value of principal? What is the value of rate? What is the value of n? So, that's all over my lesson for today. I think you have get the idea very clearly about the calculating the rate of the interest under the reducing balance and how do you solve the problems related to the compound interest. So, that is, I would like to invite you find out many questions related to both facts and you try out that questions. It help you to face your O-level examination very easily. Then I am going to over the lesson.